2.0 ERA over the past 4 games has led the Birds to a 3-1 mark. And tonight, Miguel Gonzalez tries to continue the trend. He'll take the baseball. It's the O's and Rays up next on Masson. It's the Orioles on Masson. We're at Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida, inside the Dome. As the Orioles host the Tampa Bay Rays, it is the middle game in this 3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone, I'm Jim Hunter. Last night, the series opener was dominated by starting pitching. But why should that be any different? The series has been dominated by pitching and continues to be so. As the Orioles and Rays, the rivalry has turned into, can anyone score enough runs to get a win? You look at the 4 games played this year between these two teams, each team had a chance to win, and these numbers reflect it is all about the guys on the mound. The Rays team batting average in the 4 games, 185. The Orioles, 171. The Rays have hit 3 home runs, the Orioles 4. The Rays have scored 11 runs, the Orioles 12. The average is almost identical. And look at those starters' ERA. And why not should this series be even? You see, in the history of this rivalry, each team has won the same number of games, 150 and 150. So, Mike, here we are tonight, second game of the 3-game series. And again, 2 outstanding pitchers going to the mound to face off.
Yeah, it really is all about the pitching. I mean, you saw the team batting averages, so they're keeping them very low. Been some quality outings by both sides. Yesterday's matchup between Tillman and Colomé was outstanding. I mean, one mistake really by Chris Tillman, the walk, which led to Evan Longoria's base hit and then a Loney base hit, were the only 2 runs on the board. And the Orioles offense, which was so productive in the previous 4 games, was just completely shut down by Colomé. Well, tonight they have to face Chris Archer, arguably the best pitcher in the American League right now. I mean, he's working on 5 consecutive games without an earned run. So Orioles have a tough test here. Miguel Gonzalez has looked really good this season. 10 strikeouts, career high versus the Yankees. So when his stuff's on, he can be very good.
So tonight it's the middle game of 3 here at Tropicana Field. A lot of O's fans in the house. Lineups and first pitch are coming up. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Another gorgeous day in St. Petersburg, mid-80s outside, lots of sunshine. The fans filing in for the Saturday evening game, the home game for the O's on the road. Here's the Rays lineup: De Jesus, Souza, and Cabrera. Evan Longoria in that cleanup spot, 2 hits shy of 1,000 in his career. Loney, Jennings, and Forsythe with Kiermaier in center field. Bobby Wilson will catch and bat ninth.
Yeah, let's take a look at Miguel Gonzalez's pitch arsenal this season. That fastball at 56% of the time. Loves the two-seamer. He can work it in and out. A breaking ball, he has a slow curve and a sharp slider 30% of the time. But the changeup, it's a split finger 14% of the time. When that's on, he can be as good a right-hander as there is in the game. 10 punch-outs in his second start of the season against the Yankees, career high. And that split finger was filthy. You see the 3.42 earned run average on the year. He's kept his team in every game. He's had a couple good starts and a couple so-so starts, but every time he takes the hill, this Orioles team has a chance to win.
The Orioles on the road for this home game, the rescheduled game. So you see they have on the home white pants and the Saturday evening home orange jerseys as Buck Showalter's team tries to get a win and get back to 500 as they fell one below at 10-11 with the loss in the opener last night. And here is Miguel, who pitches very well at Tropicana Field. And he is looking to be the stopper here tonight, facing a team that is gaining in confidence. David De Jesus will lead off for the Rays, who come in at 13-10, 3 above. And they have won 6 straight games, Mike, here at Tropicana Field. One of those as a road team.
Yeah, they, yeah, obviously because the Orioles, the home team here down at the Trop. But they've been playing very well here. They're starting to get some confidence. A lot of young players. And it's really been about the pitching and defense. Only 7 errors for this Tampa team. Offensively, just doing enough. It's the pitching that's been able to win the ball games.
And Steve Pearce once again at second base. He handled each chance that came his way last night. And once again working with Mike Bordick and Bobby Dickerson before the game, getting more of the nuances to help out Miguel Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's been fun seeing Steve Pearce over there. You know, just a true baseball player. He'll do whatever it takes to help his team win. Second consecutive day out at second base, and of course the second consecutive day he's had early work out there today, working with J.J. Hardy.
Well, 3 straight fastballs for Miguel to begin the game. He falls behind 2-1. De Jesus is 0 for his last 14 and 3 for his last 27. Numbers you don't normally like to see if you're a starting pitcher. With the law of averages playing into it. One of these games he's going to break out.
Yeah, well, keep making good pitches here. Miguel Gonzalez early on trying to establish that fastball. He loves to bring that two-seamer inside to right. He started at that front hip. Right now, kind of leaking back over, missing up in the zone. They're trying to attack up there intentionally. We'll go for the big swing and miss here with that splitter.
Well, 2-2 on David De Jesus, and a strike 3 called on the inside corner. Perfect pitch for Miguel, and he begins the night with a strikeout of the leadoff man, David De Jesus.
Well, established the fastball indeed. 5 fastballs here, just dotted on the inside corner, 91 miles an hour. De Jesus thinking about that split finger as well. A little bit of movement on the two-seamer, comes back over to get that first big out of the ball game.
Well, Miguel does get his share of strikeouts. He averages 8 per game, and here is Steven Souza, who is a strikeout candidate. In fact, leads the American League in striking out.
Last night, he only had 4.
And he only had 4 at bats.
But yeah, some trouble. I mean, he's a dangerous hitter. Obviously, there's some power there. They love his swing. He's got a lot to learn, obviously, in the big leagues, the adjustments that have to be made once pitchers find out where his holes are. They have been attacking him away. I tell a bigger guy, though, once he gets right, you probably don't want him to get his arms extended. Chris Tillman cut him up last night with some breaking balls down and away. So he can chase. Miguel Gonzalez has to obviously learn from that performance and attack him there.
So Miguel early on here, Mike, nothing but fastballs. As he looks for his 3rd win of the year. Miguel now in his 4th season. And time requested by Souza. Of course, Miguel was born in Mexico in Guadalajara and then grew up in San Fernando, California. And the 1-2 is a little bit low. This Miguel, Mike, when he gets ahead, he is such an efficient strikeout pitcher because of the variety of off-speed pitches he has and how much they dance and dart around the strike zone.
Yeah, typically when he's on, he can throw anything for a strike.
Slow roller to third. Machado charges. Throws on the run to get the hustling Souza and 2 men down. Let's get a look at that defense tonight behind Miguel.
Well, nice way for Manny Machado to start this game. Take a look at the outfield. Lowe, Jones, and Snyder. Cabrera and Pierce up the middle with Machado and Davis on the corners. Caleb Joseph once again behind the plate. Manny Machado, some struggles recently at third base, but starts the game off with a fine running play. It'll help make him feel comfortable over there. A lot of times players can get a little anxious when some errors start mounting up. Manny's still very young, so this is an opportunity for him to learn how to work his way through some miscues.
Here's Cabrera, and the breaking pitch is down and in. As Drubel in his first year with Tampa Bay finished last year with the Nats after he was traded over from the Indians. And one of the reasons he ended up here in Tampa as a free agent, they gave him the opportunity to stay at shortstop. Most of the other teams that were talking with Cabrera felt that this stage of his career, and it seems strange to say that, he's only 29, but at this stage he would be better suited at second base, but he still wanted to play shortstop.
Yeah, and he's done an incredible job. He hasn't made an error at shortstop yet this season. Of course, the Rays known for their solid defense, much like the Orioles, but this season only 7. And much of it really spearheaded by the veteran shortstop as Drubel Cabrera. Nice little string of errorless games going to start the season.
Miguel averages 8 Ks per game. His walks are up a bit from his prior seasons with the O's. He's averaging 4 walks per game. And he falls behind Cabrera 3-1.
Well, this Rays team, even though not a very productive offense, they will take their walks. And in Miguel's first meeting against them, the second game of the season, they worked him for 5 walks. So they will be patient.
High fly ball, shallow right, Pierce out. Here comes Snyder in. It's going to be Snyder. And he makes the grab, and Miguel Gonzalez with a solid start retires the side in order, 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the first. Here come the O's. Their team, the Oriole bird shirt, cartoon bird hat, they got it going on. Let's take a look at the O's starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. For the O's, Manny Machado, Jimmy Paredes, and Adam Jones has at least 1 hit in 16 of the Orioles' first 21 games on the year. Chris Davis, Steve Pearce, and Travis Snyder with Caleb Joseph catching. David Lowe back in the lineup. He'll be in left field. And Everett Cabrera at shortstop, batting ninth.
And here's a look at Chris Archer's pitch arsenal this season. The fastball 55%, breaking ball 39%, and that changeup just 6% of the time. But big time usage of his breaking ball. It's a nasty slider. He's got a live fastball that He works in the mid-90s.
Manny first ball swinging to right. Right there is Souza, one pitch and one down.
Take a look at Archer's numbers on the year. 3-2 record, but a .84 earned run average and 32 1/3 innings of work. Giving up 18 hits, 37 punch-outs, just 6 walks for the 26-year-old right-hander. And he's on a pretty good roll right now. 26 2/3 innings without an earned run, establishing a franchise record. So a lot of confidence on the hill right now in Archer and the Rays pitching.
Strike at the knees to Jimmy Paredes. Jimmy has been getting the majority of at-bats at the DH spot, and he's kind of taken over this number 2 spot in the lineup. Buck Showalter prior to the game talking about lineup positioning, in particular with Manny leading off tonight. What was the reasoning? What's the thought process? And he said to the reporters, you guys worry more about this than me. I just figured, why not bat Manny first tonight? Maybe he'll get an extra at-bat and help us win the game. Line drive right at Logan Forsythe. Paredes retired him 2 away.
A couple pretty good swings from the Orioles. The Orioles bats, but right at him.
So Paredes retired, 2 men down. Chris Archer, 26 years old. He's out of Clayton, North Carolina. The Rays got him in a big trade with the Chicago Cubs. He was a minor leaguer at the time, and you're talking about outstanding scouting. But the Rays scouts zeroed in on Chris Archer and his potential, and that potential is now being realized. Adam Jones now, you see that .380 batting average, still tops in the league. Although he lost from his 0 for 4 last night, 20 points off his batting average. That's what happens this early in the year.
Yeah, it really does. You're going to start getting some ABs under your belt before it starts going down 1 or 2 points per at bat.
Lined right into the shift, and there's Logan Forsythe. And the side retired in order. So each pitcher has a 3-up, 3-down first. We'll head to the second. No score. Through the first.
He looked good, really trying to establish that fastball early in the game. I mean, the word's out on Miguel. He loves to mix up his pitches. It's like right now he's going to maybe mix things up as the game progresses. But here, trying to get that fastball over early, trying to get hitters on that and prove that he can throw it inside and outside, because as the game wears on, that fastball location becomes critically important.
He'll go to work on Evan Longoria, the cleanup hitter for Tampa Bay. And it's upstairs 1-0. Longoria at .295. He had the big hit in the 4th inning rally last night that broke the scoreless tie. He then was driven in by James Loney for a 2-0 lead, and that was the final. The Orioles won the first 2 games this year as Jonathan Stope looks on. Of course, he played in that opening series. There's his replacement, Steve Pearce, at second base. The Orioles won those first 2 games, scoring 6 runs in each. The Rays have won the last 2 games, each by a score of 2-0, and the Orioles haven't scored a run against the Rays since the second inning of the second game, when they got 6 early runs against Nathan Carnes, and they haven't scored since. So the season series is even at 2-2. Too tight, 3-1.
Well, one thing you didn't expect from this Tampa Bay team was the fact that they were still going to be able to hold on to some good enough arms to keep them in it early until some of their players that are on the disabled list come back. But sure enough, the young studs, Carnes, Archer, have really stepped up and thrown the ball well. Of course, they've historically had a great bullpen, and they're doing some pretty good things with so many young pitchers as well. I mean, they're putting up some pretty impressive numbers for the amount of rookies that they have. And this isn't, but tomorrow will be like the 10th game out of the 25 starts where a rookie has started. Carnes is throwing for the Rays tomorrow.
Longoria fouls back to 3-2. Well, we expected that the Rays would be challenged offensively and scoring runs, and they're 10th in the league in scoring runs. But their pitching is better probably than even they thought with those guys on the DL you talked about. You know, with Matt Moore on the DL and Jake McGee, who's their closer, on the DL. And he gets him on a 3-2 pitch. So Longoria is down and 1 away. Second strikeout for Miguel.
Good fastball here from Miguel, holding some good velocity, working all over the place with the fastball, but painting one up and away at 92. Longoria just swinging through it.
So 4 in a row retired, 2 on strikeout. And here is James Loney, who has a modest 3-game hitting streak working, but a good start at .321. One of the veterans on this team skies it to left center field. David Lowe, a long run, and he's got it for the out, easily running it down in left field. Here's a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers, and here's Miguel, Mike, first 2 starts versus last 2 starts.
Yeah, pretty much a split season this year for Miguel. 1-1 record in his first 2 starts with a 1.42 earned run average, but a 5.73 earned run average in his last 2. Now, he has pitched deep into these ball games and gave up 4 runs in his last start, but he's given his team a chance to win 3 and 4 runs in those 2 games. And really, that's all you can ask. Miguel Gonzalez is a great competitor out there, and he's faced some of the toughest teams in the game, all from the American League East in his first 4 starts.
Tim Beckham is DHing. He was not in the original starting lineup. Desmond Jennings was the DH. But Jennings, who is now missing a 6th consecutive game because of a sore left knee, was scratched, and Beckham gets the start. This is his first career at bat against Miguel, and he hits it sharply in the left field for a base hit. Looked like a hanger, and Beckham pulled it. So a 2-out single on the first base runner of the game is somebody who wasn't even in the lineup.
Yeah, Beckham has actually played better off the bench for this Rays team. Here, a slider, it's down in the zone. He gets that front foot down, waits for it, and gets the bat head on, shoots it through the hole. Pretty nice swing, young player Tim Beckham.
Here's Logan Forsythe, who is playing at second base. He's become the everyday second baseman for Kevin Cash in the Rays. Beckham has 1 steal on the year. He's not been caught. There has not yet been an attempt to steal a base on Miguel. And a foul back to the right. Well, when you're looking for a guy to go to the mound and get a win, you're looking for a stopper. And Miguel Gonzalez has been a stopper in his career, as he looks to get this series even to set up a rubber game tomorrow. And in this division, Mike, those kind of pitchers are so necessary to squash what might be a losing streak and to maybe get yourself back in a series. Now, if the Orioles win tonight, they have a chance to get 2 out of 3 before heading on to New York. So here's Miguel in his career. He has 32 major league wins. But look at that, 16, exactly half of them have come following Oriole losses. He is 16-9 following Oriole losses. Chen has 18. Tillman 17 and Bud Norris 11. So 4 of the current starters. But that is such an important trait. Somebody that can go and restore order to your team.
Yeah, and it's nice to see such consistency with those 4 starters. I mean, they all are very similar in the sense that they know how to compete. They know what it takes each time they get out on the mound, and sometimes they don't have their best stuff, but they are real great competitors, and they know how important these starts are. Now, to start the season off, they were all struggling, and it was actually Miguel Gonzalez that really set the tone for the starters getting deep into ball games when he threw 6 innings, and now the starters are on a nice consecutive run, getting deeper into the ball game. Of course, the bullpen is well rested because of a couple off days back in Baltimore, but it was much needed. There's always worry the starters aren't going to go deep enough, that the bullpen gets worn out early in the season.
Well, the Orioles starters now have gone 6 or more innings in 5 consecutive starts. That is a season high. And they've also gone 7 innings in back-to-back starts, including Tillman last night, Ubaldo the other day at home, the day game against the White Sox, and a close play at first as Beckham dives back in. They still have had 12 starts of less than 6 innings, but now they're up to 9 of at least 6, so they're starting to even that out.
Finally.
But you're right, it's so important that the more innings the starter can eat up, the less the bullpen needs that day, so it doesn't accumulate. 1-2 on Forsythe, and Beckham drawing a lot of attention.
It is a great running count here. The 2 strikes, 2 outs. Try to get yourself out in scoring position. This is an opportunity here. The count, throw an off-speed pitch. Down in the dirt to try to get a chase. So Beckham inching off there a little bit.
Chop to third. Manny gets a nice hop. He'll go to second for the force on Beckham. Pierce taking the throw in the inning end. So 2-out single and a man left. Well, led to the bottom of the second in St. Pete. No score. Paul will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game tonight. Play baseball buck scratch-offs and win up to $50,000, or enter your non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mvlottery.com/baseball. And good luck to Paul, and let's make ourselves at home. With the scripted, oh, look, he's all decked out in the home whites. Although he does have on the Friday night alternate hat on Saturday. Davis swings through a fastball. Foul tip, actually. The Orioles playing, excuse me, Mike, the Orioles playing these 3 home games on the road. Chris Guth, the equipment manager, had to pack the alternate Friday night jerseys, the alternate Saturday jerseys, because this is a home game. And they usually just wear the orange at home on Saturday. And tomorrow, the home whites for Sunday. So 3 different uniforms for 3 games. You see the shift against Davis. Fouls it off the other way.
Well, good to see Chris Davis swinging it a little bit here. Last night, some trouble on some pitches away. Maybe not just seeing the ball well, but a couple good passes. Nice little changeup right there from Archer that he got on. Just fouling it off.
Foul tip held onto by the catcher, Bobby Wilson. Well, Mike alluded to Chris Archer in the season he's had. He lost to the Orioles in the opener, and it's with pitches like this, getting it by a good fastball hitter, that get it done. But Archer on the year in that game, Mike, gave up 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings, and since then just 1 unearned run. He's had 3 of 5 starts, 0 runs, and then just 1 unearned run in the other. In that loss to the Orioles, that was April 6th, Diaza hit a 2-run home run off him, Pierce a solo home run, and he allowed 4 runs, 3 earned in those 5 2/3 with just amazing consistency. And another ball hit into the shift. There's Forsythe. He gets Pierce and 2 men down. Now the O's are back home at Oriole Park on Monday, May 11th, to begin a stretch of play that includes 17 home games over the next 21 days beginning on May 11th. First up, 3 games against the Blue Jays. Then the Angels come to town for 3. Now, good seats still remain for all the games throughout the month. Show your Birdland pride and enjoy a great day or night out at Oriole Park. For tickets, visit Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. And remember that game Monday, May 11th. A lot of fans are calling it the re-home opener. They want to pack the ballpark that night to invite the Orioles back home. And that'll be a nice gesture if the fans can come on out. So 2 quick outs.
And you can see why Chris Archer's been so dominant in his last 4 outings. Real good fastball. 95, 96 mile an hour fastball there down in the zone. So a couple good sliders. Haven't seen the changeup come up too much. One to Chris Davis. That was right there.
Archer, 26 years old, in his 4th season. Jim Hickey, his pitching coach, has watched his staff allow less than 10 hits for 10 consecutive games. That's how you stay in the game. If they can't get on, they can't score.
Right. Well, Jim Hickey's seen a lot of great arms come through this Rays system, but he thinks Chris Archer could be the best out of all of them. If he can command his fastball, I think he thinks his secondary pitches are as good as anybody's in the game. The mistakes that he seems to make are with the fastball, leaving it over the plate, but right now executing very well. He's throwing the fastball a lot early.
Peel the third, no swing. Now, did Chris Archer have to get permission from Cakes to wear number 22? Is that like something you have to do? You have to go to Jim Palmer and say, can I wear this number?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
And the 3-2 is upstairs. There's ball 4, and the Orioles get their first base runner. It's a 2-out walk. That is only the 7th walk in this, the 6th start of the year for Archer.
Catcher, number 36, David Joseph.
Archer is allowing, Mike, wonder why he wins, 7.2 base runners per 9 innings. 7.2. If you're at 10, you're doing good.
All right. Yeah, keeping the walks down, striking out a lot of hitters. I mean, he's a power pitcher. 32 strikeouts in this scoreless streak he's on right now.
He is 23-21 in his career. Tonight he's making his 65th career start. You see Forsythe shading up the middle there. And Caleb tries to go the other way, but he fouls it back.
Well, when you get good pitching, you see from last night's ball game how just 1 or 2 mistakes can really turn it around. And Chris Tillman had a fabulous game going. He walked Cabrera, and then Longoria picked up the base hit, or the extra base hit, to drive him in. And then Loney got a base hit, the only 2 runs on the board. But Chris Tillman was just as dominant as he's been. I mean, it was a very good outing. Colome shutting down the Orioles offense that have been so hot, but these tight pitching matchups, 1 or 2 mistakes can cost you.
2-2 on Joseph, who's got a 2-game hitting streak going. Outside ball 3. This will be a break for the Orioles. It will allow Travis Snyder a head start at first. So if Caleb could find a gap, the O's could get a run here.
A good take right there from Caleb. 88-mile-an-hour slider. Very tough pitch to lay off of, especially when you have to gear up for the 95, 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Snyder runs, and it's outside ball 4. Back-to-back walks after 2 men down, and 2 real good at-bats by Snyder and Joseph.
Yeah, really patient at-bats. Not expanding the zone at all. A couple nasty sliders right there to Caleb Joseph, but he's been seeing the ball so well. So quiet in the box and able to pick up the spin on that slider and lay off. A couple nasty ones to get the 2nd walk in a row.
And a meeting out at the mound as Jim Hickey comes out. See, Archer's been so good, they are stunned he actually walked back-to-back batters. The pitching coach had to go out and make sure he's okay.
Right? Yeah, I think just saying, hey, be more aggressive in the zone. Why are you trying to mess around, work the counts full? A couple walks here. Very uncharacteristic in the early going here for Chris Archer. I'm sure pitching coach Jim Hickey said, hey, be aggressive with that fastball. Just keep it down in the zone.
Here's David Lowe with a chance. Buck wanted to get him in the lineup tonight. In left field, batting 8th. Upstairs, ball 1. David's got a 3-game hitting streak going, and he's done it the tough way. 1 hit in each game. Because there are games where he gets just 1 at bat. Allows it back.
Yeah, very tough for bench players to get their reps in, to stay sharp on top of their game. David Lowe, one of the guys that's always out for early BP. His games many times are just in batting practice, where he has to put himself mentally in kind of a game frame of mind, shagging balls in the outfield, or even taking his batting practice.
Well, the Orioles here very patient in this inning. Back-to-back walks, and now 2-1 on David Lowe. Snyder is at 2nd, Joseph at 1st. Caleb getting a bigger lead, not being held.
One thing this Orioles offense can't do is expand the zone off a pitcher like Chris Archer, because he will take advantage of that. And they've been very patient.
Lifted to left, playable for De Jesus, and he's got it for the out, and that ends the threat. Well, a couple of walks, but 2 left. We're through 2 at the Trop. O's and Rays, no score. He did play in an extended spring game today, and another catcher of note, of course, Wieters came out, a #1 draft pick, but the Red Sox called up one of their top prospects, 23-year-old catcher Blake Swinert. He made his MLB debut today, and he got his first base hit. And here's the bullpen and catching coach. We're going to deal with it. Wieters and Varitek dealt with it. We'll deal with it. We'll be okay. And what he means by that is guys having very little minor league experience and then coming up and having to take over a staff.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox have been trying to find a catcher since Jason Varitek retired. They have a pretty good one in Christian Vasquez, but he's on the 60-day DL. And then, of course, Hannigan, who they brought over, fractured his hand today. So I had to get down there. They didn't want him to come up really until the end of the year, maybe mid-season. But they like what he can do behind the plate. Strong arm, switch hitting catcher. He was their first-round pick back in 2011. Really shot up through their system, giving him an opportunity here. They need some help with that rotation.
And his first major league hit was an infield hit, diving stop by Petit, the Yankee second baseman, and he legged it out. He beat the throw, so he's got a little speed early on in his career as a catcher. Kiermaier's up 1-2 to count. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, on deck, and then David DeJesus back to the top of the lineup. Miguel facing 7 batters in the first 2 innings. Line to center field, and that's a base hit. On a 1-2 pitch, Miguel left one out over the plate. Kiermaier's taking 2. Here's the throw from Jones, not in time. He is safe. A hustle double for Kevin Kiermaier.
Well, it sure was. A lot of this kind of stuff is done in the pregame. Adam Jones nodding his head because you watch how outfielders respond to base hits. Here, nice job getting on the hanging split finger, but Adam Jones just kind of nonchalantly taking his time, puts his head down. Kiermaier recognizes that, and off he goes. Now, he has great speed. He's a plus runner and taking advantage of laziness out there by Jones, taking his head off the runner. Typically, Adam comes in there hard, especially with a runner with speed.
So now the leadoff man in scoring position for Tampa Bay. Here's Bobby Wilson. Grounded to short. Won't be able to advance the runner. Cabrera, the long throw across, got him. Not a good at-bat there for Bobby Wilson, as Kiermaier has to hold at second base. Well, fans, this past Monday and Tuesday's regularly scheduled games against the White Sox will now be made up as part of a single admission, a special doubleheader on Thursday, May 28th at 4:05 p.m. at Oriole Park. Now, tickets for the Monday game will be valid for that doubleheader. If you're holding a ticket for Tuesday or Wednesday's originally scheduled games, you can exchange those tickets for any remaining home game this season on a dollar-for-dollar basis. Now, tickets are subject to availability, and all exchanges must be made by June 30th. For all the details, just call the Orioles at 888-848-BIRD. Here's DeJesus. And strike. And, of course, you don't know that Bobby Wilson's going to hit a ground ball to Cabrera, but had Kiermaier been on first, that might have been a double play and erased the base runner. But because he hustled a second when Adam came in slowly on the ball, the double play not in order. And then the runner's still out there. Throw back and safe. Getting back in is Kiermaier.
And those are big situations in these ball games. Typically, when you have some tough pitchers going at it, runs are so hard to come by. So you'll see managers maybe do things a little bit different. Kiermaier takes things upon himself to hustle into second base, but Bobby Wilson has to recognize this is going to be a low-scoring game or potentially a low-scoring game, so you really have to fight to get him over.
Right center field, Jones calls. Tagging is Kiermaier. Adam will throw on through. And Kiermaier beats the throw. So he's at third, but now 2 men down as Adam got over towards the gap.
Adam running down that line drive off the bat at DeJesus. Can't quite get behind the baseball. It still shows the strong arm. Makes it pretty close there at third base. Kiermaier, the pretty good speed. Well off the bat. See Adam Jones getting over there and then turns his body, but has to reset that back foot. Still making a pretty close play.
So Kiermaier is at third with 2 down. And here is Steven Souza, who was really scuffling. 0 for his last 10, 2 for his last 18. And he bunts, third base side, tough play for Manny, picks it up, throws, he got him! What a play by Machado to save a run. Manny Machado barehanded it and fired across to Davis to get the out. Outstanding play by Machado. And Miguel Gonzalez and Manny picked up Adam Jones. What a play by Manny to end the top of the third. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit midatlanticcomfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Mike Bordick about to get his order in for his fifth inning snack. Ballpark Franks.
I'm going to need some help with those.
Now, here's a question. Are they SK Franks? Since it's an Orioles home game, did SK send some Franks down?
We can call them SK Franks, yes.
Here's a strike taken by Cabrera. On deck is Machado, the leadoff hitter. Cabrera at 239 slaps a foul the other way. Look out.
Chris Archer staying pretty true to form. 30 pitches, that's 67% fastballs and 27% breaking balls. Lost command a little bit in the last inning. A couple walks.
And he gets Cabrera the ball to the dirt. Bobby Wilson picks it up and fires to first. So second strikeout for Archer is the first out here in the Oriole third. Get in on the baseball action with Masson. Just text the word Orioles to 29292 for team alerts and chances to win exclusive prizes all season long, including meet and greets with your favorite players. Again, that's Orioles to 29292 for Orioles alerts you can't miss. Manny Machado swung at the first pitch of the game and lined it to right field for an out. Manny's got a 2-game hitting streak going. And he's also at a 389 clip over his last 10 games coming into tonight. 14 for 36, 3 home runs, and 8 RBIs.
Yeah, he's been swinging it very well. Talked about his base underneath him, strong legs coming into spring training. Of course, some knee problems for Manny at such a young age, but he feels really healthy working with hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh. Got a good thing going right now.
Take it all the way on the borderline pitch. Manny wearing the Oriole team socks. Upstairs, ball 4. Bobby Wilson wanted an appeal, but Tim Wilkie didn't even ask. So there's the third walk allowed by Chris Archer. See if the Orioles can take advantage of this 1-out walk. He walked 6 total in his first 5 starts, and he's got 3 walks here in 2 1/3 innings. Jimmy Paredes hit a line drive right at the second baseman, Logan Forsythe, who was shading up the middle in the shift. But with the runner first now, Forsythe has to play a double play depth. Now, one of the things we're noticing it here again tonight, here comes Jim Hickey again. He must think something's wrong with Archer. This is his second visit already, and the Orioles don't even have a base hit.
Well, I think one thing there's concern about with Chris Archer. He's still young. He still can get a little demonstrative on the mound and lose his focus. So I think in this point of the ball game, Hickey doesn't want to let things get out of control. 3 walks, very uncharacteristic, but try to settle him down as soon as possible. Keep him confident, because he has been riding a wave of confidence here in his last 4 starts. But here you can tell a little rattled, kind of self-talk to himself. So it's what a pitching coach is supposed to do. If the catcher doesn't recognize it, pitching coach will take charge, run out there, settle him down.
1-0 on Paredes. Something off speed. Paredes swung through it.
Well, he's got a couple different sliders. The one he'll throw over for a strike, that one there will be a little bit softer, more 85, 86 miles an hour. Then he throws the hard slider, like the one he just struck Cabrera out on, 89 miles an hour down.
It's kind of amazing how almost every major league hitter, maybe there's a couple that don't follow this, but every time the pitching coach goes out, they're convinced they're going to get a fastball the next pitch, and they swing from their heels, and Archer throws a changeup and he gets it by Paredes.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, it seems to be more the other way. If there's a pitcher that's in trouble and doesn't have command of his pitches, a lot of times the pitching coaches say, hey, finish it with a slider, because you have to get the slider out in front to throw it for a quality pitch, and sometimes the breaking ball will get them back into the strike zone with their fastball.
Jim Hickey, longtime pitching coach here with the Rays. He was on Joe Maddon's staff, but stayed here when Joe went to Chicago to manage the Cubs. 6 in the first, 22 in the second, 12 already here in the third to get 1 out. And Paredes fights it off. Had an interesting chat with Scott Coolball at the batting cage on swings just like that, where Paredes fouls it off and straight back, and he says it may give the indication that he was right on the pitch, but in his mind, Paredes was late there because he didn't barrel up on it. And he said it maybe he didn't pick up the spin, or maybe he's a little bit late with his landing foot, but there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, there is, and also the fact that that slider was 89 miles an hour, and he's got incredible finish with that pitch. He throws it so hard, and typically this is what pitchers strive for, is to get that late movement rate in the zone. So Paredes thought he was on it, but there was just so much bite on that finishing slider that he just hit the top part of the ball.
2-2 on Paredes. Line towards center field. That's a base hit. It got by Cabrera. So Paredes is on. That one he was on. So 2 on with 1 down for the Orioles. Well, fans, when the Orioles win, everybody wins. When the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu pricing, your online order at papajohns.com by entering the promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. And here is Adam Jones, and the way you worded that about the slider, Scott Coolball said for a hitter, among the many things that are very important, you have to recognize the spin to know what's coming at you.
Sure. Yeah, you can't overcommit before you recognize what the pitch is.
High fly ball, right center field. He got a lot of it. Back it goes. There's Kiermaier. He reaches up and makes the catch against the wall. Machado tags. He's trying for third, and he will get in there. So Kiermaier goes back and takes an extra base hit away from Adam Jones.
Adam Jones, another great swing. Gets a fastball out over, and he drives it to the gap at right center. But Kiermaier showing the speed again. He and Jones got something going on right now, and Kiermaier leading the way. Good job by Manny Machado coming back to tag. Paredes reading the play as well. Didn't think Kiermaier would get there, so he was all the way down to second base as well.
Now, Kiermaier plays as deep a center field as any center fielder in baseball. He is way out there. So on a ball like that to the gap, he has a real good angle to get over to it. Sure, I mean, look at that. He's behind the star. You rarely see Adam Jones that deep in this ballpark. So a chance for Chris Davis, first and third, but 2 men down.
Now we saw in last night's ball game how Kiermaier can come in on the ball very well. So maybe he has more of a problem going back, so he plays a little bit deeper. Coming in, he made a fine diving play on the line drive that was pretty much right at him.
And a base hit to left field. Chris Davis comes through with 2 men down. Machado's going to score, and now they have Paredes, but he gets back in. He thought about going. DeJesus threw behind him, and Paredes got back in. Big hit by Davis, and the Orioles grab the lead.
Yeah, this inning started off there with Manny Machado's walk. Once again, Chris Davis coming through in a big way, going the other way on a fastball down. Great piece of hitting. That's a clutch performance right there by Chris Davis. Archer showing some frustration out there, more self-talk, finally giving up that earned run.
So first and second, Orioles have 2 hits. The walk did score. Here's Steve Pearce. In the dirt, knocked down by Bobby Wilson.
Pretty good block right there. One of the tougher pitches to block. It was slider snapped out in front of the plate. Somehow able to get that chest protector on it and keep it close by.
And fooled by that pitch, swings through it 1-1. For Chris Davis, that is his 6th RBI on the year of his 17 off an opposite field hit. That is very promising for Chris, that he is using all the fields, and he hit that one against the shift. Slicing the right center field. That ball's hit deep. Back it goes. It is off the wall and in play. Here's Paredes to score. Davis being sent. There will be a play. The throw is up the line. Scoring is Davis. Throw to third to get Pearce to end the inning. But Steve Pearce delivers a 2-run double as he goes the opposite way, and it's a big third inning for the O's. Single by Davis, double by Pearce, and the Orioles grab a 3-0 lead, taking advantage of the walk with 1 down to get on the board. For culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to an eclectic array of world-class cuisine, Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week is June 1st to the 14th and now celebrating its 10th year. Visit savorsarasota.com. Chris Davis got it going, a 2-out RBI single. And now his right side of the infield teammate, Steve Pearce, the Orioles second baseman, with a 2-run double. That is big for Steve Pearce to come through with a big hit like that.
Yeah, he's been grinding offensively. He's had a lot of success here at the Trop. doing some more damage.
Ball 1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera flied out to right his first at bat. Shallow fly ball. And a strike.
Really going with that fastball early in the ball game and having success here, using it 72% of the time.
Fouls it straight back. Miguel is making his 9th consecutive regular season start within the division. He has faced Boston 4 times, the Yankees and Tampa Bay now a 3rd time, and Toronto. The last time he faced a non-AL East opponent in the regular season was Cincinnati last year, September 3rd, when he pitched his 4-hit shutout. So all these division games, you tend to see these teams over and over and over.
Doesn't faze him one bit. Some tough lineups he's had to go through.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you hear Buck talk about this all the time, how there are no secrets in baseball, especially in the division, and yet managers in spring training will try to keep the starters away from division opponents, and all 5 of the division opponents now are on the west coast of Florida, so they're all scheduled against each other, but there are no secrets. You just see each other too many times. Popped him up left side. Machado in the shift is calling off low. He'll stick with it. And he's got it for the out. So 1 away here in the Tampa Bay 4th. Well, time is running out for your chance to upgrade your summer with an Orioles partial season plan. Season plan members enjoy exclusive ticket savings, Major League Baseball's most flexible exchange policy, access to postseason tickets, plus many more orange carpet benefits. Now, 13-game plans are still available. For complete details, Orioles.com/season or call 888-848-BIRD. And those 13-game plans, they are really worth it. Well, the good fans probably going to go to that many games anyway.
Right.
So you buy your plan, you get all those other benefits. You know the games you're going to. You put it on the calendar on the fridge, going to the O's game, and you're all set.
I agree. Great deal.
Longoria struck out his first at-bat, one of 2 Miguel strikeouts. Do you take care of your life with the calendar on the fridge?
I don't.
Really?
No, my wife has the calendar up there.
We have dueling calendars.
Yeah.
And I still forget.
Yeah, me too.
Just outside. Good take by Longoria. Well, one trend will go in the Orioles' favor here. Tampa Bay, when they had scored first in games this year, had gone 10-0. And a roller foul, so the Orioles scoring first. They can't do that. Miguel trying to win his 3rd on the year.
Looking good, mixing in that split finger now. A couple nasty ones to Evan Longoria. Started him off with the split finger. That last pitch, the second strike, another splitty down in the zone.
Popped him up. Will it stay where Manny can have a play? He is over, and he will get it. So Machado's right there for the second out. And 2 men down on a couple of pop-ups to Machado, who has been busy tonight. He's already been involved in 4 outs for the O's.
And Miguel Gonzalez, a nice sequence there to get a very dangerous hitter in Longoria. And he, a couple big plays already defensively and a huge base on balls, which led to a big 3-run inning.
James Loney now 2 outs and nobody on. 5 in a row retired by Miguel since the leadoff double by Kiermaier in the 3rd. Lined, and that is a foul ball. You know, as big as a game on May 2nd could be, Mike, this really is a big game for the Orioles. They're trying to get some normalcy back to their routine after all the events at home. Well, they win tonight. They get back to 500, 11-11. They set up a rubber game tomorrow, chance to get a series win going into a day off before a grueling 6-game trip through New York City next week with 2 interleague games against the Mets. And there's a called strikeout. Excuse me. I thought it was a called strike 3 the way Welke did. Caleb thought it was the way Welke called it.
Yeah, pretty good sell here. Caleb says, "You're done. 2 strikes. That's all you get in this league." Oh, no.
Right. Caleb, he fooled me too. A 1-2. And he got him anyway on a splitty. And Caleb will tag him out. So there's the strikeout. Took 1 extra pitch. Tim Welke and Caleb saying, "Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. 3 up, 3 down. Go to the Rays on a beautiful night in St. Pete."
Off to a slow start. I see that batting average at 264, but it got up there because of a 6-game hit streak, 17 for 29, hitting .586 over the 6 games, 5 doubles, 5 RBI. So Yastrzemski, 24 years old. He was a 14th round pick back in 2013. He worked his way up through, made it to Double-A last season, had a monster year, spending parts of the year with Delmarva, Frederick, and Bowie. But did a lot of different things. Good speed, 34 doubles, had 16 triples, 14 home runs last season. So earned that promotion to Double-A, and it's nice to see him picking it up with the bat.
He's got that hitting streak going that has that average on the rise, and he's yet another example of the increased depth in the organization based on his year last year where he made it through 3 levels. He easily could have been a AAA this year, but too many outfielders in AAA, right. So in order to play every day, he's back in Bowie. You got Darryl Alvarez there, Henry Urrutia, Nolan Reimold is there. I mean, there's just too many outfielders and older than Mike at AAA. So good problem to have if you got too many players. 1-2 on Snyder. And a foul tip into the glove of Wilson. He held on, so that's a strikeout and 1 away.
Archer wanting the fastball in for a strikeout call, but just off the plate. Finishes him off with another nasty slider, 89 miles an hour at the bottom of the zone. Coming in hot, too. And look at it just dive at the end. Nice job by Wilson to hang on to the foul tip.
Caleb Joseph now. Strike on the corner.
And Archer's last start against Toronto, who has another exceptional offense, he had 7 strikeouts, and 6 of the strikeouts were on that slider. So the Orioles aware of it, but it's such a tough pitch. Coming in hot at 89 miles an hour.
Well, he's got 2 losses. He's got the loss to the Orioles on opening day. 6-2 the O's won. And prior to the game Mike just talked about against Toronto, upstairs on a check swing, they appealed to first. He didn't go. He lost to the Red Sox by a score of 1-0, and he allowed an unearned run, and that was the only run in the game, and he lost it. Boston usually doesn't win 1-0 games. They're not that kind of a team. Caleb fights off a real good pitch. Orioles have won 3 of their last 4. Had the 3-game winning streak halted last night, trying to get it going again. Ground ball at third. That's a fair ball. Longoria from foul ground. Easy throw across to get the catcher Caleb Joseph. And 2 men are out in the Oriole fourth. Well, why not spend your Memorial Day afternoon at Oriole Park? The Birds will be hosting the Houston Astros, and are they on fire at the moment? That is Monday, May 25th at 1:35. First 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive a Stars and Stripe pattern Orioles barbecue apron. And then you can go home and have a barbecue and have your apron. Celebrate the unofficial start of summer and show your Birdland pride with a great afternoon of Orioles baseball. For your tickets, 888-848-BIRD, or get online at Orioles.com. The Astros, that young team, they are 16-7. They've won 8 in a row and have a 5-game lead in the AL West. And they are 6 up on Seattle, which is the team most picked to win that division this year.
And some good young talent there. There's talent still being developed in the minor leagues. For a while they've been talking about this Houston Astros team as a team to watch out for.
Well, how about a 3.04 ERA by their pitching staff, second best in the league, trailing only Kansas City. David Lowe taking all the way on a 3-0 pitch. Orioles with a 3-run third to get the lead. And another strike. Ground ball against the shift. There's a base hit for David Lowe. Outer part of the plate, making contact, just slaps it through for a 2-out single.
Nice piece of hitting right there by David Lowe. Nice at bat, working the count to full, going the other way with the fastball up and away. And he stayed on top of it. Something he's really been working at, trying to keep the ball out of the air. Plenty strong enough to hit home runs, but love for him to use his speed. Right there going the other way. A hard ground ball.
So we'll see now if he'll try to steal second base with 2 down, with Everett Cabrera up there protecting him from the left side. Does not go, and it's a strike. Cabrera struck out his first at bat. He is 4 for his last 14. And he has watched J.J. Hardy with extra work each of the past 2 days here. There's a chopper to third. Longoria's got it. And the throw across to get Cabrera. That ends the inning. 2-out single, a man left. We are through 4 in St. Pete. Middle game of 3. The O's have the lead. Third and 2 down. Steven Souza tries to surprise Machado and bunt to get that run in, but Manny is all over it. You saw him break before the ball even hit the bat, and on the back end, Souza looked over and said, "Are you kidding me? How did you get that bunt?" There's our T-Mobile game changer.
Yeah, that was a big play in the game. Now, you had mentioned earlier that the Rays, when they score first this season, they're 10-0. Great opportunity there, but Manny Machado is not tonight.
They let dogs in tonight? That's awesome.
Wow.
Or did that person sneak in there, Fido?
Yeah, that little dog probably came in a bag, carry-on bag.
Foul back. Miguel, real nice pitch count, Mike.
Yeah, very efficient in this ball game. Still using that fastball quite a bit. Starting to mix in the slider a little bit. Surprised he hasn't been going to that split finger when he gets ahead, but here maybe the second time through.
Tim Beckham in the lineup as the DH. Sharp hit ball foul. And nearly hit his third base coach, Charlie Montoyo. Of course, Charlie's nowhere near the coach's box. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. The way the game is now, the coaching boxes are mere suggestions.
Yeah.
Center field, Jones is there, and he makes the catch. Now you see where Adam caught that ball in front of that star. He was telling me before the game that if you play there, you'll take away base hits, as he just did on that sinking line drive. Whereas if you play behind it, by the time you get your jump, the ball may fall in for a base hit. Now, how about that? He talked about it before the game, and the ball's hit right where he said he was going to be playing.
Yeah, perfect.
Wayne Kirby wants him in even more shallow.
Yeah. Get off that star, he says. That was a good play. That ball was knuckling there at the end. Moved about 3 feet away from Adam. Good concentration.
Logan Forsythe. There's a strike. But as you pointed out earlier, most fielders are more comfortable coming in than going back. But Adam's not one of those. He loves to go back on balls.
Yeah, he really does. He gets a good first step, good drop step. It's a good angle. The most gifted center fielders in the game today. Great speed, strong arm, good instincts out there. Former shortstop.
That ball's ripped down the line for a base hit. Long run for David Lowe. Forsythe is flying around towards second base, and he's going to have a one-out double.
And Forsythe, a pretty good swing here. Caleb Joseph setting up down and in, but catches just a little too much of the plate. Nice job getting the bat head to that ball, whistling it down the left field line. And yeah, he was flying around first. Pretty good speed there at second base.
Here's Kiermaier, who doubled in front of Adam Jones. Adam played it as if he thought Kiermaier was going to stop. He didn't. And he beat the throw into second base, but then was stranded at third because of that play by Machado on the Souza bunt. Kiermaier's 25 years old, his second season. He's out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he played in college in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, at Parkland College. And that shows you that if you have talent, they'll find you. I have never heard of that school, let alone as a baseball school, and here's a guy in the big leagues that played there.
I agree. I think that's funny. You've never heard of Parkland College?
No.
A baseball hotbed? Oh, I haven't either.
I have heard of the University of Maine, however, the Brown Bears. I know they're Black Bears. Swept to second base. There's Pierce, plays it cleanly, exactly as Mike Porter taught him, and 2 men down.
And Steve Pierce looking pretty good over there.
So the runner goes to third. Forsythe. Oh, he stayed at second. Excuse me. I saw Montero, the coach, at third base. He should be at third. There's no way Pierce would fire across the diamond to get him. Well, here's Bobby Wilson, the catcher. Now back in his home state as the backup here for the Rays. Ouch. I got a piece of Caleb.
Yeah, good piece of him. Squared him up right between the eyes. A loud noise on the end. Right over the top of the glove. Forehead. Ooh.
Pop foul back this way. Almost a souvenir for Mr. Border.
Miguel doing a nice job getting ahead here. Come up with a big payoff pitch.
It hit a monitor or whatever is hanging there. There's Forsythe at second base. 2 down and 0-2 on Wilson, the number 9 batter. Swept foul past Montoyo. So now, even though there's a right-handed batter up, Montoyo is on the other side of the coach's box. So he's a better angle with his base runner Forsythe at second base.
Yeah, nobody on.
And Rocco Baldelli, the first base coach, he's well beyond the box.
Yeah, way back there. Well, you want to be safe, that's for sure.
Popped up, shallow center, easy play for Adam Jones. And he has it for the out. So a 1-out double is left stranded. Here are Mazda do-ups, Manny Machado, Jimmy Paredes, and Adam Jones, top of the lineup for the Birds. Play daily fantasy baseball for free at DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code TRIPLEPLAY for your free entry. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Now, Mike Bordick already had his hot dogs for his mid-game snack, and we right now are exactly at the midpoint through 4.5. And he is going to send out for takeout for those nachos.
Yeah, those look good.
You a nachos guy?
Not really. They look good, though.
I like how you play along, though. So Archer at 66 pitches. 60 since the beginning of the second inning. He threw only 6 pitches to retire the side in order in the first.
Well, Archer has been so dominant here lately. And the Orioles put together a very good game plan. I mean, they haven't been tearing the cover off the ball, but you've seen some really good patience. Not getting themselves out by any means. I mean, taking some nasty pitches. I think that's frustrating Archer a little bit. I mean, we've seen him kind of loses cool on the mound. Hickey's been out there a couple times already in this ball game, and that's a game plan that they're sticking to.
Broken back ground ball towards second. There's Forsythe. He gets Manny for the out, and one away as Archer gets the leadoff man. Now, before the game, Buck Showalter was asking the reporters about the swift play of games, where the Orioles have had last 2 games with 2 hours and 3 minutes and 2:16 or whatever it was last night. He was asking the reporters their opinion about, well, why do you think it is? One of the things I'm noticing here in this series, and again, yesterday was May 1st, so it began the official speed-up rules. Tillman last night, Archer tonight, they never leave the rubber between pitches.
Yeah.
They get the ball back from their catcher, they stare in for a sign, and they're ready to pitch. And with the batters not leaving the box and walking around and playing around with the gloves and patting their cleats, they're ready to hit. And the game moves along, and it's the pace of the game that is better.
Yeah.
I don't think fans mind however long it takes if their team wins, but it's what happens between pitches.
Right. We have seen pitchers before, especially on this Rays team. Historically, they have taken their time. They take a lot of deep breaths. They walk around the mound, gather themselves. But this year, we've seen them speed up a little bit. And Archer right now, he's just rocking and firing. Get the ball back on the mound. I think it's good. It's good for the obviously the game to speed it up, but it's good for the players behind them to stay on their toes and keep that tempo and pace of the game crisp.
Mike Hargrove would never be able to play in this era.
No.
The human rain delay.
Yeah, he started it all, didn't he?
2-2 on Paredes, 1 out, none on. Protecting the outside corner, and he fouls it off. Another nice crowd under the circumstances here, including a lot of the Orioles minor leaguers from extended spring training. Skied a mile high to center field. Of course, Kiermaier's waiting for it out there. And he's got it for the out. And 2 men down. The O's upcoming schedule is brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit us in-store or online at mile1.com. Finale, home game here tomorrow in Tampa against the Rays. Then the Orioles will fly home. They'll spend Sunday night at home, travel Monday by train to New York, and then the unusual week, the 2 interleague games against the Mets. And then it's a 4-game series against the Yankees next Thursday through Sunday. But at least they have consecutive night games coming up.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Towards the middle, there's a base hit for Adam Jones. They're playing him deep in the hole at short, and he hit it the other way. So Adam is 1 out of 3.
Number 19, Chris Davis.
It was fun yesterday watching Bud Norris and Ubaldo Jimenez, who will pitch those 2 games against the Mets, taking their swings in the cage, batting practice.
Yeah.
And having a little bit of a competition.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, they love that. I'm really surprised, I mean, for the amount of interleague games that are being played, that they haven't incorporated that sooner. But, you know, certainly the health of players comes into effect there.
Chris Davis with a big, healthy cut, and he swung through it. Of course, I don't know if any of the pitchers will ever become the hitter Zach Britton is.
Well, Zach Britton, speed and power, great combination right there.
Of course, he may never bat again now that he's the closer.
You're right.
Archer can't believe what's going on. He just doesn't have his usual command.
No, and I think you really have to credit the Orioles offense. I mean, real steady approaches, not chasing many bad balls, especially early in counts. And that's a great take right there from Chris Davis. I don't know how they're picking up that spin, but he's throwing some real nasty sliders down in the zone real hard, so they're coming in out of his hand like a fastball and not even flinching on those pitches. So Nice job of recognizing the pitch early and making Archer work a little bit harder in this ball game than he has.
Borderline pitch. He took it for a strike. Shift is on. There's nobody covering third base. You may have seen Bobby Wilson there pop up and remind the infielders if Jones runs, if the ball's put in place, somebody's got to get to third. Jones goes, and it's low ball 4. Archer thought he had a strike, or maybe he was hoping he had a strike, as he walks his 4th in this game, and it keeps the inning going. Well, there are a few hitters in the Orioles lineup that have had success against Archer. Chris Davis 3 for 8 with a home run. Steve Pearce now 429 with a couple of home runs, a double and 4 ribbies. And Manny Machado 4 for 14 plus a walk and a run scored tonight. So as good as he is, there are opposing hitters that have success against him.
Yeah, and he's had some trouble against the Orioles in his young history. 1-3. His earned run average is up over 5 against the Orioles in his 6 games. He has made 5 starts against the O's.
Two on and 2 out. And another good take. There has not been any activity yet in the Tampa Bay pen. He just threw his 85th pitch. Jones at second, Davis at first, and Pearce trying to get him in.
And Pearce a great at bat to drive in a couple back in the 3rd inning, driving the ball deep to right center. Just swinging through a pretty good slider from Archer, but Steve Pearce, a lot of things on his mind, playing a new position. Of course, he hasn't gotten off to the offensive start that he'd like, so grinding a little bit at the plate. So nice to see him able to loosen up and pick up a big hit for the team.
Archer began the night 3rd in the American League in ERA, 0.84. Most strikeouts, he had 37. He has but 3 in this game. And the batting average against was 3rd lowest. Orioles have 5 hits off him in 4 2/3 innings. 2-2 on Pearce. Bounced foul outside of third. Gloved by Longoria in foul territory, so the runners will have to retreat.
Nice job by Steve Pearce. 2 strikes. That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Located just where he wanted to throw it, down and in to Pearce, and finds a way to keep the at-bat alive.
Pearce hit a career high 21 homers last year, turning on inside pitches. And he got him. Wilson held on to another one. So good slider, did get a piece, but into the glove. 2 left, we're through 5, 3-0 O's. chair of the American Heart Association's 2015 Baltimore Heart Ball. Together, the Orioles and the event chair Sun Trust helped raise more than $679,000 for cardiovascular disease research, education programs, and advocacy efforts. Now, the Orioles thank sponsors Johns Hopkins Medicine, Sinai Hospital, at LifeBridge Health Center, and the SC&H Group. Please visit Orioles.com/AHA for information on how you can become part of this cause. 3-0 O's. Miguel has allowed 3 base runners, all on hits. He has not walked the batter. 2 doubles and a single. All 3 have been left stranded. Top of the lineup in the 6th. Here's De Jesus. Upstairs. David De Jesus, born in Brooklyn, but then grew up in Manalapan, New Jersey, and played at Rutgers. And he has been in pro ball a long time, now in his 13th season in the big leagues. The Rays are his 5th organization. Off the end of the bat, right center field. Jones is gliding back to it. Tells Snyder, I got it, and he does. Remember the first series of the year, Snyder had a little trouble with Adam, not realizing Adam covered that much ground.
Right, yeah.
He's learned.
Yeah, he sure has. And it doesn't take long. Adam pretty vocal out there. Tell his outfield counterparts, stay away. He's got it.
Just because he takes his time and glides through it doesn't mean he's not going to get there.
Right.
Here's Souza, who is 0 for 2. He is grounded out to Machado, who made a nice play, and then bunted towards Machado, and Matty made an even better play. Strike on the corner. Miguel's done a pretty good job tonight here getting strike 1.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he looks sharp. His fastball looks good.
And a strike on the outside corner. May have been the splitty.
Yeah, absolutely. A real good pitch. Located well. He's thrown a few in the game, and he's made some mistakes with it. They've been hit hard, the ones that he's left up in the zone. But when they're down, they are pretty much unhittable.
See you later. So hits the outside corner and gets another strikeout. And 2 men down.
3 pitches, fastball, splitty, then another fastball painted on the outside corner. We'll take a look at the Jeep inside the numbers. This Rays team, boy, do they strike out and swing and miss a lot. 200 strikeouts this year for the Rays. That's second most. And you see the plate appearances per strikeout, 4.3, second lowest. Swing and miss percentage, 24%. Swing put in play at 36%. So having some troubles actually getting that ball in play. Too many swing and misses from this offense, and that's why they've had some trouble. They're putting a lot of runs on the board.
So that's why the Rays games are so swift. They strike out a lot, and their pitchers strike out a lot. No one's getting on base. 1-0 on Cabrera. That ball bounced in there. And a strike in the outside corner. Took something off. Miguel 4-4 in his career against the Rays. And he is 3-2 in 6 starts here at the Trop. And an ERA of 2.48 here at Tropicana Field.
Once again, getting deep into a ball game. Very good pitch count still.
2-1 on Cabrera, 2 out, nobody on. And a strike.
And so many times ball clubs who do their scouting reports on pitchers, they take a look at their best outings, and I'm sure this Rays team saw him in a split finger against the Yankees, and it seems like they're caught in between, throwing a lot of fastballs. He has mixed in an occasional split and breaking ball, but seems like they're guessing, especially when Miguel getting ahead. He's been able to locate his fastball really well locking up some hitters. I'm not striking out a lot of batters, but it seems like they're waiting on that split finger. He hasn't been throwing it as much as he has in some previous games.
2-2 as Cabrera stays alive on the foul ball, and he swings through it and misses. He's down on strikes, and a 3-up, 3-down inning for Miguel. That is his third in 6 innings. Bottom of the 6th coming up. O's have the lead. Save a run, then Steve Pearce goes the other way, base of the wall for a 2-run double. And the rest has been up to Miguel Gonzalez. And Mike Portick brought his Fido here tonight with Oriole glasses. Wayne Kirby, the outfield coach, discussing positioning and how to catch balls in center field with his Gold Glove center fielder.
Yeah, he's saying catch that ball up by your eyes so you can see it better. And Adam, I caught it on the side. I had a good look. Adam Jones has a little bit of style in his game.
Well, one of those guys has 4 Gold Gloves.
All right.
And Wayne Kirby helped him get it. Play by Forsythe. What a play to get Snyder. That's the thing about this team with the coaching. They do whatever is necessary so the players can be their best. And Adam Jones takes advantage of that with Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice play here, though, by Forsythe at second base. Snyder wanting that hit bad. Head first dive into first base. Rays defense very solid this season, as it has been in the past. Yeah, a lot of Gold Gloves on this Orioles defense. Wayne Kirby's helped Adam Jones, and of course Bobby Dickerson done a great job since he's come on board. J.J. Hardy, the Gold Gloves. Manny Machado, that Platinum Glove. And here moving Steve Pearce to second base. First time in his career, and he's been flawless. Nice double play last night. Handled his chances. Looked very smooth. Ernesto Frieri in the Rays bullpen.
When Buck met with the reporters before the game, he was asked about Pearce at second base, and he said, you know, when you have coaches who can teach infielders, Bobby Dickerson is one of the best at it. There were several others, but Buck said there's really 3 or 4 there at the top, and he considers Bobby that. And he even went out of his way and he said, don't forget, we have Mike Portick here too, and he was out there helping. Yeah, again, organization taking advantage of the resources.
Well, absolutely. Bobby's done a great job. He has so many unique drills that help players in the middle infield, first and third as well. He's on top of it. He can notice subtle flaws, and I think he has a great awareness of what a player can do, and he makes sure they stay within themselves. Steve Pearce, perfect example.
Deep left field. That ball's got a chance. Back it goes. It is gone for Caleb Joseph. There's an add-on run and a 4-0 Oriole lead.
Big run right there for Caleb Joseph, and a huge swing, and he continues to swing the bat very well. Second home run of the year for Caleb.
And another $500 for our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Paul Bosley, for that home run by Caleb Joseph. So the Orioles' 30th home run on the year, a solo shot, and a big add-on run for the O's.
We'll take a look at this swing from Caleb Joseph. The slider, it backs up. It's a cement mixer right down the middle of the plate. And Caleb Joseph does not miss it, hammers it over the crowd. And the seats deep left field.
One and one on David. Well, the Orioles have hit the magic number in runs scored on the year with their 4th run. They have not won a game all year scoring fewer than 4 runs. They're 0-5 when they score 3 runs or less. So the magic number of 4. Archer trying to get through this inning. About to throw his 100th pitch.
Trying to make some mistakes with the slider, leaving him up in the zone. 100 pitches, maybe a little fatigue. He has gotten over 100 a couple times this season. And that slider's right. He's burying it.
Well, he has allowed 3 home runs on the year. All 3 have been hit by Orioles. That is a foul ball off the bat of Lowe. On opening day here, Diaz hit one out, a 2-run shot. Pierce a solo, and now Caleb Joseph a solo. Well, Caleb extends his hitting streak to 3 in a row. And he has 2 home runs and 7 ribbies in his last 13 games. And another foul back. David Lowe's taking aim on the broadcast booth.
Yeah, trying to get one back in here, right? Archer leaving a lot of pitches on the plate.
And another 1-2 is fouled back. So Archer touched up for 4 earned runs. And the Orioles now with 6 base hits. Off the end of the bat, slicing down the line. Who's it going to be? Longoria calls. And the third baseman has it in fair territory for the out. And 2 men down. For every Orioles walk, CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to support the March of Dimes. The O's have drawn 60 walks on the year for a total of $3,000. CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. Here's Everett Cabrera, the number 9 batter. Bunts but foul. Souvenir on the bench. Bud Norris and Adam having fun.
Navarro wants his ball back.
Overthrows the fastball, 1-1.
Pretty impressive velocity still after the 106th pitch, 95 miles an hour.
Foul off the shin guard of the catcher, Bobby Wilson. The other check mark for the O's in the game, they have homered. They haven't won a game this year without hitting a home run. So they have the home run and the 4 runs. So they can pack it up and go home. 1-2. And then a foul back.
Well, this is how you win against good pitching. You battle, you have quality at bats. Even if you make outs, you make them productive by seeing a lot of pitches. Making it tougher on Archer.
A little bit low.
See throughout the ball game, a lot of head shakes, a lot of disappointment, and probably not in himself, but more the fact that how the heck are they laying off some of these pitches, because he has thrown some good sliders down in the zone, but.
And he gets him with high heat, 95 miles an hour. But the Orioles get a big add-on run as Caleb Joseph gets into one. Hits it out deep to left field for his second home run of the year. He got all of it. And the Orioles, through 6, enjoy a 4-0 lead at the Trop. Presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. A lot of O's fans here for this unique home series on the road at Tropicana Field. They're taking advantage of it. General admission seats, and a lot of folks came out on this Saturday night.
A nice Oriole following down here. The spring training home, of course, in Sarasota.
Longoria leads off, and he takes low, and a nice gesture by the club to get those extended spring training minor leaguers out here to a big league game and let them see what the atmosphere is all about.
Oh, yeah.
So Scotty McGregor before the game, he came up from Sarasota. Line drive, foul down the line, and just foul. And there's several of the Orioles minor leaguers that are at extended spring.
Yeah, pretty exciting time for that young group of players. Chance to see the Orioles big leagues here in Tampa. That's how it's done. I mean, this organization's really turned itself around in the past few years since Buck Showalter arrived. Of course, some of the young stars that the Orioles have making its way up through the big leagues, Machado and Scope. But and this is the right organization to be in now. Buck Showalter and player development in the minor leagues are doing a great job giving guys opportunities. If you're doing well, you're going to get promoted. You're going to get some good looks in spring training. And Buck Showalter, he knows what everybody's doing. We might not know those guys, but I guarantee you Buck Showalter knows who those kids are.
And you saw Jonathan Scope there back on the Oriole bench. He came up from Sarasota to be with his teammates. He has a better seat. You know, those guys have it tough. You know, if you think about it, there are more minor leaguers than there are roster spots until the short season clubs start, Aberdeen and Gulf Coast. So those guys are there staying ready just in case they get a phone call to report to one of the teams. So basically every day is practice. High fly ball to left. Lowe is back on it. appears to have a play, and he does. And he has it for the out. So Longoria gets under it, gives it a ride, but one down.
Always dangerous when Longoria steps up to the plate. In trouble with the long ball this season. Only one home run. Just missing his second there.
Here's James Loney, who is 0 for 2. Loney has found a home here at Tampa Bay. Former first-round pick of the Dodgers back in 2002. He was the 19th overall selection in that draft. And he was a very good player for the Dodgers, especially defensively, but they wanted more power, the Dodgers did, out of that position. And he was traded. He was in that huge trade between the Dodgers and the Red Sox. He ended up in Boston, played the rest of that year there, the final 2 months. Then he came here, free agent to Tampa.
And he's done a really nice job. I mean, he's never really been a power hitter, more of a doubles type hitter, average. And he's picked it up nicely here for Tampa. A great veteran presence on this team.
He was one of 9 players in that big trade between Boston and the Dodgers. For Boston, they unloaded some team unfriendly contracts. 1-2 on Loney. Slice to left. David Lowe's got a beat on it. Oh, does he get a jump on the ball? 2 men down. So back-to-back fly balls to David Lowe. Fans, you can follow the Orioles all season with MLB.com At Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins. You get replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. So 2 down, and here's Tim Beckham, who got a surprise start tonight. Fastball down and in. And another foul back.
And Miguel's still strong here. To finish up the 7th inning. Good fastball. Look at his pitch count at 88. 66% fastball. Is mixing in that breaking ball a little bit more, and split fingers coming more into play.
It's a by him, 1-2.
Miguel gets some nice movement on his fastball. You see the location here. Second and third pitches. Working the corners of the plate. Outer third, back to the inner third. Moving him around, changing some speeds.
Strike 3. Perfectly placed fastball. Hits the glove of Caleb Joseph. And that ends the inning. 7th inning stretch at Tropicana Field. Orioles trying to get even in the series, enjoying a 4-0 lead.
Trop. Steve Pearce loves hitting here. Oh, yeah, he drives in two. Paredes and Davis score to get the O's the early lead. And Miguel Gonzalez, he settles in. Longoria goes down swinging. Sosa having a tough series. Fastball away, painted. Caleb Joseph, little addition here. Solo home run. Deep drive on a hanging slider. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. We'll take a look at Chris Archer's line tonight, using that fastball quite a bit. The Orioles had a great plan against him, made him work. 110 pitches on the night. Mixing in the fastball, the breaking ball at 35%, but they weren't biting on that slider. 4 walks.
Fly ball to center field. Easy play for Kiermaier off the bat of Machado. And 1 away.
And it's time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. It's time for a little relief for your car, too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. Oh, Ernesto Frieri into the ball game, using that fastball 52% of the time, breaking ball 37%, and that change 11% of the time. His numbers on the year, that .466 earned run average. For that to come down, 5 walks, 8 punch-outs on the year. Pretty good fastball. He's up there to 96 miles an hour. Works in the low 90s, though. The slider's a little bit inconsistent right now. Occasionally you'll see a nasty one down in the zone, and that changeup. Use it occasionally against the lefties.
Fastball sails high. Paredes is 1 out of 3, and the base hit came in the 3-run rally in the 3rd. And they're shifting on him again. Back in the outside corner. So they shift him the pull, and Frieri pitches him to hit it the other way. Paredes took the pitch anyway, so it's 1-2. Well, the Orioles' last 2 games here at Tropicana Field, both 2-0 losses. They had a total of 7 hits in those games. They have 4 runs on 6 hits in this game tonight. Frieri fouls it back.
A pretty healthy cut right there on the slider. Not that good depth. He can pick it up a little sooner. Some pitchers throw their breaking balls, and you can see the little hump out of their hand. I think Paredes picked that up really quick and had a very aggressive 2-strike swing.
Paredes fights it off. Now, Frieri, he did have some success as a closer with the Angels, but he fell out of favor there as he became prone to allowing the home run. Since 2011, Mike, he's allowed 37 home runs in relief, more than any other reliever in baseball. And that's tough for a back end of a bullpen guy to give up those long balls.
Yeah, he did have some success with the Angels, but last year, boy, just a nightmare season. 42 innings he threw, and he gave up 11 home runs, so not a very good ratio there. Like you said, typically coming in high leverage situations.
2-2 on Paredes. Broken back ground ball to second. There's Forsythe. He hit it right into the shift. And Paredes retired for the second out. The 2 down. Here's Adam Jones. Adam is 1 out of 3.
And that's a difference maker right there for Adam Jones. I think this first month of the season, we've talked about his batting average, the home run numbers there. But the strikeouts down. A big part of that is he's not been aggressive on especially off-speed pitches early in at bats. Not a bad slider to start Jones off with, but takes that pitch, gets himself into a good hitter's count, and an aggressive swing on the fastball there.
Well, as Scott Coolball was talking about before the game, recognize the spin. Easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, sometimes it's hard, especially with pitchers that have those different type of deliveries, like deception we talk about.
Mike, you're supposed to follow the foul balls.
Yeah, I know. I'm ducking right away, aren't I?
It almost bounced in and hit you.
I've told you I don't feel very safe when I don't have the proper equipment on.
You're allowed to bring your glove to the booth. I won't say anything. I used to do that at Old Tiger Stadium, because that booth was about 20 feet from the plate.
Yeah, it was close. Good catching gear to call a game there.
Great place to call a game unless you got killed. Well, 2-2 on Adam. Grounded foul past Bobby Dickerson, who does not have his glove, so he lets it go by. Bobby D. Been a busy man here.
Yeah.
Making sure J.J. Hardy gets his work. Working with Steve Pearce at second base. Working with Paredes at third base.
Yeah, Ray Navarro been up. Some new players this season.
Line short hop by Cabrera. He gets up and throws across to get the hustling Jones, and that'll end it. So 3 up, 3 down for Ferrari. O's go down in the 7th. We'll head to the 8th. 4-0 O's.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, Chris Davis coming up with a big base hit, beating the shift, going the other way, scoring Manny Machado. It's the Orioles on the board first, but that ends that 29-inning scoreless streak by Rays starting pitcher Chris Archer. Orioles with that 4-0 lead, 6 hits on the board. None bigger than Chris Davis breaking it open with the RBI single.
There we go to the 8th. Not only is Miguel still in, there's no activity behind it. And by the way, the foul ball that you almost didn't realize, I got it.
All right.
So I got you covered. I'm sailing by you.
Should we throw it back?
No, it's too far down there. We'll find an Oriole fan after the game and give it to him.
There you go.
Forsythe has one of the hits off Miguel. He's allowed just 3. It was a double in the 5th. Miguel's had 4 3-up, 3-down innings and has retired the last 8.
Another strong start from Miguel Gonzalez. Finding his rhythm out there on the mound.
Through the legs and into center field for a base hit. He almost got the glove down, but it skipped on past him. So there's a leadoff single. Second time in the game the leadoff man has reached.
Oh, this bullet right back through the middle. Pulls the hands in on the slider right between the legs of Miguel Gonzalez. Sounded like he got a piece of his glove.
So 2 hits for Logan Forsythe. He has 2 of the 4. Kiermaier, the number 8 batter. Attacking the fastball 1-0. Brad Brock now getting loose.
It's been about a week since Brad Brock's thrown last, so we'd see him up getting work. One of the harder things that Buck Showalter has to do is try to, now with the starters going so deep, is try to find ways to keep the arms fresh in the bullpen.
Cabrera stays with it. He has it for the out, 1 away.
Number 46, Bobby Wilson.
It's been exactly a week since Brad was in a game. It was last Saturday night. Bobby Wilson, the number 9 batter. 0 for 2 on the night and just 3 for 23 on the year. High and foul.
Really foul. Turned on that up and in fastball. See the pitch track, that 2-seam fastball riding in. He just yanks it up over the Orioles dugout.
Center field, Adam Jones runs it down, and again playing shallow, takes a base hit away, and that would have been an extra base hit. Once it hit that turf, it would have scampered on by.
Yeah, beautiful play here. Take a look at Adam Jones. The jump he gets the feet active, and boom, that is a beeline right to the baseball. Fine play once again by Jones in center field.
So 2 down in the 8th. Leadoff single Forsythe is still at first. Here's David DeJesus, who's really having a tough time. And tonight Adam Jones ran one down in the gap on him. He is 0 for his last 17, and he is 3 for his last 30. A little bit low, wouldn't chase.
Miguel getting to his 100th pitch. Very efficient throughout the ball game. That's what you like to see. A lot of stressful innings in this ball game for Miguel. Big reason why Buck Showalter has left him in this long.
Strike on the corner, borderline pitch. So DeJesus sneak a peek back at Tim Welke.
Good movement on the 2-seam fastball down in the bottom of the zone. See the pitch track, third pitch maybe just running just off the plate, but nice pitcher's pitch. Didn't get the second pitch called for a strike. Maybe a little makeup call there.
And a strike right there, 2-2. Well, it's all about pitching. And Miguel Gonzalez, Orioles now 3 consecutive starts of at least 7 innings. First time since September 10th through the 12th of last season, 2014. That was Wei-Yin Chen, Kevin Gausman, and Bud Norris in those starts. In these starts, it was Bado Jimenez, Chris Tillman, and Gonzalez. So 3 different starters did it last time, and 3 different starters this time.
Well, it's nice to see them, such a tight group, this starting rotation for the Orioles, and them all to really come out of this together. It speaks volumes of how close they are.
Forsythe will go on a 3-2, and then it's fouled back.
Really no sign of fatigue here from Miguel. Still executing his pitches, hitting his spots. Continues to mix it up. Command of his off-speed pitches.
7th pitch coming in this at bat. And it's outside, ball 4. He lost it. So that'll put 2 on with 2 out. Put the tying run in the on-deck circle, and here comes the skipper. And we will get a pitching change here in the 8th inning. So Miguel Gonzalez, outstanding start. He goes 7 2/3. He's allowed only 4 base hits and 5 base runners on the night. Gonzalez leaves. Brock comes on for the Orioles.
But boy, was it a quality start. Pinpoint accuracy with the fastball, dotting it there for big strikeout. Longoria going down on a fastball, up and away. Split figure came in, sure did. That's one of his better pitches, but the fastball tonight proved to be the big one. Cabrera going down on the pitch, up and away. Here, a great 2-seam fastball, backdooring to Beckham for another strikeout.
And a swing and a miss by Souza. First pitch by Brad Brock.
Take a look at Brad Brock's pitch arsenal. The fastball 60%. Crossbody delivery. That fastball gets up in the mid-90s. Nasty sink on as well. Breaking ball, hard slider at 13%. Filthy changeup to go along with it.
In the dirt. Nice block by Caleb. 1-1.
Look at Brad's numbers on the season. Been in 9 games. Has a win. 4.76 earned run average. Will be working its way down as this bullpen starts to settle in a little bit. 14 punch-outs on the year for Brad.
So a week since his last game appearance, worked just a third of an inning against the Red Sox last Saturday. Souza is 0 for 3 tonight. He is 0 for 7 in the series, and he has struck out 5 times. And he has a home run threat. He's got 4 on the young season. High fly ball slicing down the line. A long run for Travis Snyder, and he can't reach it. Falls in the bullpen. He was over towards the gap. Good effort, but couldn't reach it. It's a long strike, 2-2.
Well, you got to want every ball to make the plays, and Snyder, he wanted that one, just running out of room. Quite a performance by Gonzalez.
Now a spectator on the Orioles bench. Those are his earned runs out there. 2-2 on Souza. Outside with a fastball. Well, a lot will be going on this pitch. 3-2 with 2 down. The runners will be off. Forsythe from second to Jesus from first. And Souza's likely to get a pitch to get a good hack at. Brock doesn't want to walk him. And he popped it up. Foul back of the plate. Joseph is hoping for a play. And he's got it right next to the screen. Tremendous play by Joseph. He stuck with it, and it spun back to him. And with a Rays fan yelling at him on the other side of the screen, he hauls it in for the out. Miguel Gonzalez, outstanding start. Wei and Chen will take the mound against Nathan Carnes. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 1 o'clock with those extra presented by Jeep. And game coverage at 1:30 on both MASN 2 and WJZ. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN. Well, Jonathan Scope is back with the team, and they're best buddies, Manny and Jonathan. So Manny's got his buddy back, Jonathan keeping it loose on the bench. And here's Xavier Cedeno, the lone lefty in that Tampa Bay pen.
Yeah, take a look at his pitch arsenal. The fastball 38% of the time. Looks at 89 to 92. He's got the slider, probably his best pitch, and the curveball. And in 6 games, 4.91 earned run average, 5 punch-outs, 3 walks. An interesting year so far. He was acquired in a trade with the Dodgers April 27th for some cash. To help out. A lot of injuries, the bullpen and the rotation.
Davis fights off the breaking ball. And Miguel and Chris Tillman, they're real good friends, talking it over. Caleb goes over to join in.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, this rotation. They're always talking to each other, trying to learn things, maybe picking up a flaw or what kind of pitch you used to get a certain hitter out of a sequence of pitches.
Right into the shift. There's Forsythe. Davis busting it down the line. Can't get there in time.
Second baseman, Steve Pierce.
One away as Chris hits into the shift. Brock's going to come on and start the ninth. There's nothing doing in the bullpen for the O's. It is a save situation for Brock because the tying run was on deck when he came in. But if Zach came on to begin the ninth, it would not be because of the 4-run lead. So Brock would have a chance there to save here if he finishes the ninth. Here's Steve Pearce, who's getting that stroke back. Big 2-run double here tonight. He is 4 for his last 10 with 5 RBIs. And again, he loves hitting here. He has no idea why, but he does. Now you hit well here.
Oh yeah,
265, home runs, 17 RBIs, a couple of stolen bases.
Wow.
30 games you played in this stadium.
Yeah, back when they had the nasty turf. You remember that original turf they had on this field? The old Astro turf? Pretty scary infield.
But at least here they have the dirt infield as opposed to the still Astro turf, just a different version.
Right.
But unlike Toronto that has the cutouts around the bases, here you have a full dirt infield. Well, 2-2 on Pearce, 1 out, nobody on. Good take, ball 3. Orioles have done a great job tonight looking over pitches.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, seems like it's been that way all year. I mean, there have been a few inconsistencies, but for the most part, tracking the ball along, making pitchers work. Being over aggressive too early. Well, there are some really good hitters on this Orioles team that like to be aggressive. First pitch. But it seems like they all have a pretty good game plan that they're sticking to.
And a 3-2 pitch is swung on and bounced to short. Cabrera charges to play the hop. And he'll get Pearce for the second out.
Right fielder, Travis Snyder.
Cabrera wearing that number 13. That is the number of honor for shortstops from Venezuela. They love that number. Ozzie Guillen wore that number. Omar Vizquel wore that number.
Yeah.
Breaking ball stays inside as Snyder bends out of the way. Bends in for a strike.
He really likes his slider against lefties. It's more the cutter to the righties.
Their bullpen, Tampa Bay's, is very effective, but it is right-handed heavy. So there are pitchers out there with their stuff that Kevin Cash will trust regardless of who comes up.
Right.
Stays inside. Cedeno didn't think so. Tim Welke's had a good night behind the plate.
And very consistent. A lot of talking to him in this ball game, which is a good sign.
And through the middle for a base hit. So a 2-out single, and let's get a look at our drive of the game, brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer, 5 years running. See why at lexusoftowson.com.
Yeah, got on a mistake slider. Sarcher was burying the slider down in the zone most of the game, but he left that one up. Not a lot of movement. Caleb Joseph hammered it.
Caleb 1 for 2 plus a walk. He was always a good hitter in the minor leagues. Last year, a big adjustment facing major league pitching day in and day out. But now he's got that year behind him and certainly a lot more comfortable here. Even though defense still is his top priority.
Yeah, he works so hard behind the plate, trying to learn the staff still every day, trying to get in the heads of the starting pitchers and the pitchers in the bullpen and know exactly what they want to do when they come into a game. And it takes a while for a major league catcher to be completely familiar with the arms that he has to catch.
Ball and 2 strikes. Fouls it off the other way. 12,789 here tonight. So just about 13,000. General admission seats. Come on in, find a seat. And about 13,000 folks took advantage of that. The Oriole fans certainly were cheering loud during the 2 rallies. The Rays fans are conditioned to certain things that usually happen when the Rays are in the field. But because it's an Orioles home game, you're not seeing any of that on the Jumbotron. Well, the pitcher gets 2 strikes. They have all kinds of things that go on here.
Yeah, it's quite an event for a Rays home game.
It hasn't been as loud as it usually is because of that.
Yeah.
You see the big scoreboard out there in right center field, just Caleb's pictures on there. No strike this guy out, or a lot of the videos they play to get the fans going. It's been simply play the game and cheer.
Yeah.
What a concept. Enjoy the game. One and 2 on Caleb. And he got him. Breaking ball in the dirt. And Caleb walks out of the batter's box before tag, so he is down on strikes, and that'll end it. Brad Brock goes back to work. He has a chance to earn the save. O's 3 outs away from a win. At Southwest.com and by PNC for the achiever in you. Those fans capturing the moment. Mr. I Do It All, Steve Pearce, moves from second base to first base. And Ray Navarro comes on to play at second base. And Brad Brock stays on to retire the final batter of the 8th to end the 8th. And now we'll look for 3 outs to record a save. Here's Cabrera, who's had a tough night, 0 for 3. First ball swinging, high fly ball to left. There's David Lowe. Gliding to it, he's got it, 1 away. Zach Britton getting loose just in case.
Third baseman, Evan Longoria.
There's Evan Longoria.
Evan looking for his first hit of the night as well. And Miguel Gonzalez really carving up this Rays offense. Face Brad Brock, the nastiest guys in the league. Real true swing and miss pitches right there. Nasty changeup down and in. Great late movement. Take a look at Evan Longoria's power zone, though. Make mistakes in the middle of the plate.
Yes.
And oh my, will he do some damage. That's a big red circle.
Sure. Hey, Brad, avoid that.
Stay out of that.
Now, all Brock has had to do is face 4 consecutive long ball threats, including last inning when he came on with 2 on and the tying run on deck. A little bit low, came a little sidearm that time.
Yeah, his changeup, tough pitch to lay off. Evan Longoria took a swing at it earlier in this at bat. Went back to that spot. Lays off it. Try it again, Caleb says.
And he got him. Longoria will be tagged out. There's 2 away on the strikeout for Brock.
Yeah, so pretty nasty pitch right here. Back-to-back changeups. Tough to pick up with the crossbody delivery. Great arm sell. Quick arm speed. And this ball, watch it sink. Great when it gets to the plate. Just disappears. Evan Longoria, great major league hitter, swinging over the top of it, way out in front as well.
Well, the O's are not away from getting even in this series. There's James Loney. Slices it foul down the line. Loney's had a quiet night. 2 fly balls to left plus a strikeout. Orioles have struck out 7 Rays batters, 6 by Miguel, 1 here by Brad Brock. So the O's starters now 6 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings and 3 consecutive 7-inning starts. Miguel's on the bench.
Miguel Gonzalez came into spring training. The big goal, he wants to get up over 200 innings this year. He wants Buck Showalter to have more faith in him, and because Buck's been a little concerned the past couple of years about giving him extra days rest. He and Wei Chen both. But Miguel says he's ready to go, and he's had a great start to the season. Eating up some innings, getting deeper.
Right into the shift. There's Cabrera. And he will fire across to get Loney, and the Orioles win it. Big bounce back game for the O's after being shut out last night in the opener of this series. Miguel Gonzalez goes 7 2/3 scoreless. He allows only 4 hits and 5 base runners. And Buck Showalter and the Birds get even in the series, winning it by the final of 4-0. So the O's set up a rubber game in the finale tomorrow as they shut out the Braves here at the Trop.